Now, what do we think, though, when we hear the word inheritance? We think money. So let's touch on it. Should we leave money to our kids, and if so, how much? Well, it depends on... Hey guys, welcome back to the Joyful Giving podcast. I'm Greg Dean, and we're going to talk a little bit about inheritance and what scripture and I think what logic has to say about what, if anything, we might consider leaving to our children. Now, I do want to start with what the Bible probably is talking about. The Bible is likely talking mostly about an inheritance and a love for Jesus, a trust in the God who created us. Teaching that and passing along that inheritance is the greatest, the most important, the ideal. Now, what do we think, though, when we hear the word inheritance? We think money. So let's touch on it. Hey guys, if you've been blessed by any of these episodes, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you know someone right now, 5 people, 10 people, 50 people right now who'd be blessed by this as well, share. Share to everybody. Thanks for listening. Should we leave money to our kids? And if so, how much? Well, it depends on what you mean, of course, first. If the inheritance is about money, Randy Alcorn has a thought on that. He says not to leave money with your daughters and sons. That would interfere with any of their son-in-laws or daughter-in-laws' responsibility to provide for them. How dare any of us, whether family or friends or government, allow our financial subsidies to deny the character-building privilege and divine calling of a man to work hard to provide for his wife and children? So many well-meaning parents have caused serious marital conflicts by leaving money to their grown children, money that's his or hers. I've talked about that on a previous episode. This has the potential to divide a marriage and can foster unhealthy independence by the wife or the husband, depending. The people often testify. This is the argument for perhaps not giving them so much or not giving them anything at all. Because there is character built, there's discipline that's built, there's self-control that's built, there's trust in God that is developed. But many of these same people who have built this character and discipline and self-control and trust in God then go ahead and pass along these large amounts of money to their children, in some ways robbing those children of similar blessings in character building. You get the argument, I hope. Some thoughts from those who've been there. This is pretty interesting. Cornelius Vanderbilt, one of the richest men in history, said, "Inherited wealth is as certain death to ambition as cocaine is to morality." Yikes. Henry Ford stated, "Fortunes tend to self-destruction by destroying those who inherit them." More important, God says, an inheritance quickly gained at the beginning will not be blessed at the end. That's Proverbs 20:21. So certainly, we should not transfer wealth to adult children unless we've successfully transferred God's wisdom. Now, that is the one, I'd say, loophole. Not loophole, but the caveat. If we have taught our children well what God's wisdom is around wealth, then a lot of this can be curbed. But what it tends to happen is we lax on this because we're off making the money. And we don't bring the kids up in the way that they should go with regard to money. And then these issues do result. Seriously consider leaving the bulk of your estate to churches, to parachurches, ministries, missions, and other kingdom purposes. But that advice comes with decades of not only studying scripture, but also observing what happens when large inheritances are passed on to those who did nothing to earn them. That's why Jesus answered the questioner as he did. The questioner asked, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me. Jesus warns him, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." That's from Luke 12, 13, and 15. So Parents, first, teach your kids God's way. Teach them modesty. Teach them good stewardship of money. Teach them about generosity and so forth. This inheritance is greater than silver and gold. But certainly don't just drop a whole bunch of cash on them. This isn't a command. This is a Paul-esque type of good advice. Because you want your kids to grow to be good, God-honoring, Christ-loving people. And throwing too much mammon at them might hinder that. Hope that helps. Guys, I'm Greg Dean, and this is the Joyful Giving Podcast.